Hi, Michael.
Hi, Dan. We're excited to release the newest film in our Amazing Queer Songbook, There Is a River.
This song was written a little more than 20 years ago in 1997, which is soon after my mom passed away, my mom Phyllis. And the loss was a really deep one for me and also for Michael. She was a huge and important person in our lives, especially mine.
And mine.
Yeah.
And yours.
A little longer for me.
So. She got us.
Yeah, she got us. Mm-hmm. She did get us. And not everyone does. Mm-hmm. So in a few minutes, we're going to talk via Skype to our dear friend and the director of Amazing Queer Songbook, Leah Bonvissuto, from her home in Brooklyn. While her young daughter is napping, we have her for about a half an hour.
Billy's sleeping.
Yes.
The main thing I would say about Leah and this vlog that we're doing is we had been recording for 2 days at the York with all these beautiful, amazing performers.
We had done like 12 of our songs in one session.
I just kind of wanted to pack up and go home and process all of it and take it in. I walked out into the lobby and Leah came out and she said, why don't we do a song with you and Dan, the writers of the Amazing Queer Songbook, and so that we have you there. And I was like, I just don't think I could do it. And not forcing me at all or anything like that. I did it. I felt like I just completely trust her that this was the right thing to do. And I went back into the theater and Dan was at the piano and we recorded this song, and I'm really glad we did. Thank you, Leah. It's a very special moment in the process of creating the songbook for Dan and I.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Michael. I know that there was resistance to you two being on film, and I understand the desire to have these performers be the only faces, but I really felt so strongly from day one that this is the time where we have to see something of you two. And so when I walked out of the theater on the day that we were shooting these videos, and Michael, you and I had a real connection around what anxiety feels like and the state of the world and how do we move through this time of uncertainty with so much sadness and still find joy. And it was powerful for me to recognize that we all feel this way. And as long as we can listen to each other and as long as we can feel safe, then it's okay to move forward. And I really believe that's what we found together that day, and that's why it was okay. And that really reminds me of how we met. We met in such a horrible time, you know?
Would you talk about that a little bit? Can you stand it?
Yeah, I can. Michael and Dan and I met very shortly after September 11th, and I was living downtown with their cousin Chessa, who was and is one of my best friends. And we were very close, and we saw everything and had to evacuate and were without a home. And we at first went to go stay with family of mine on the 34th floor of a tower on the East River, and it was really, really scary for us to be there. And so on day 2, Michael and Dan, you opened your home to us. You gave us your Bond Street apartment. And I tell this story because that was one of the most confusing times of my life. I was 18 years old. It was really, really weird and awful and really confusing, and still is, I think, for so many people. And I remember you both coming up from Philly multiple times during that time while we were staying at Bond Street and taking us out and eating in with us and singing songs on the piano. And it was my first time meeting you both, and I felt safe, and I needed to feel safe during that time. And that bond is not something that I can describe with words, really. And we've remained so close, and then we've had these wonderful collaborations of working together theatrically. I think that's because we have that trust. It's like unspoken, right? And then I remember last year when you both were in town and we went down, we were meeting downtown, right? Because I was between clients, and you said, we're gonna walk over and look at the memorial. And I said, well, I avoid it every time I'm down here, but let's go together. And it was a beautiful, again, really unspoken moment. And I keep coming back to the fact that there can be such goodness in something really horrible. And we don't talk about that, but it really, what came from that day were you know, a handful of the closest relationships I have that I can't really describe to people how meaningful my relationships with you are, and Chessa and Christy. It will never go away.
When it came to Songbook, it's like so personal. And are we ready to really do this and put this there as elders and with this history? And I think we needed to have you there with us.
Yeah, I
because
totally agree.
Yeah.
Well, you've been so encouraging from the beginning, even before we started filming, when we were just formulating these ideas. And I think you were the person that we felt we wanted to reach out to for guidance and coaching about this project, because it's so connected to the truth, I guess. Maybe is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. I remember us first sitting down and saying, is it a book? Is it a video? You know, and so much of what is exciting about it is that it doesn't have to live in one genre. And just like you too, you don't live in one genre.
Which is sometimes a blessing and sometimes feels like a curse, maybe, because we can't kind of describe what we do to people at a cocktail party in one or two lines.
And they just walk away.
Yeah, they're like,
They're not your people.
well, that's what we figured out, but it's taken a really long time to come to peace with that. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.